What up, you fluffy bastards? My name is Liquid Blitz, and today I'm going to bring you a very, very short video. I haven't been playing Battlefield 1 for very long, but if you're anything like me, then you struggle with, like, one-on-one situations. Like, let's say you just run around a corner and there's an enemy right in your face. Before I learned the secret, basically, I would lose most of those situations. So I'm going to give you a few tips that I've figured out and sort of. I've been experimenting with all sorts of classes and stuff, and I've basically figured out how to win almost every one-on-one situation, or even like one-on-two. It's a really good class, the one I'm going to show you. Also, a little disclaimer, this isn't for good players, obviously. This is for people who, sort of like me, struggle a bit with one-on-one situations. That's the whole point of this video. So this isn't for advanced players. So if you're already good at Battlefield, this isn't going to be any use to you whatsoever. Anyway, let's get right into it. In short, just straight away, in short, the secret is to use trench weapons, like trench SMGs and even a couple of trench LMGs, and gas grenades. The gas grenades is sort of a side thing. They're not as important, but the main thing is basically to use trench weapons. And the reason behind this is because trench weapons, the whole point of trench weapons as opposed to storm versions or sniper versions, etc., the point of trench weapons is they have a higher hipfire accuracy. They're meant to be fired from the hip. And basically, because you're firing from the hip, it means you don't have to waste the split second it takes to aim down sight, because each individual gun has a set aim down sight time. And it sounds like the tiniest amount of time possible. It's only a split second, but seriously, that split second of like, just, you're sprinting, there's an enemy, stop, hip fire, brrr, dead, right? Assuming they don't also have a trench weapon, then it's on equal footing. But assuming they don't, they have to stop and aim their weapon. And it takes even longer to aim down sight after sprinting than it does if you just stood there and aimed down sight. So if you run around a corner and they have to aim their weapon, if you've got a trench SMG, you could rail through them before they even start firing. That's the strength of the hipfire bonus. And you'll find, when using these trench SMGs, namely you'll see it on the screen, the Automatico and the MP18, the two trench SMGs for the assault class, they're actually, when you hipfire them, they're actually even quite accurate at medium range, not just up close. You'd think hipfire accuracy, it's useless at medium range, but it's not. You can actually get some good kills medium range. And on to the next point, which is possibly one of the most important parts, and it also brings in what I said about gas grenades. I advise, alongside a trench SMG, to equip gas grenades. And the reason why is because when you're hip firing, and if you're using a trench weapon, you'll be hip firing 90% of the time. And if you've thrown your gas grenades in, if you're in the middle of, like, you know what I mean? When you're in the middle of the action, you're like literally like capping a base or whatever, and you're right in the middle of all the grenades coming in. There's gas grenades, there's fire, there's people running all over the place. I mean, the craziest moments. Because you're hip firing, you can put on a gas mask, and because you're hip firing, there's literally no penalty. Everyone else, most of the people, as long as they're not using trench weapons also, they pretty much have to aim to sort of kill you. Or they have to be very close in order to hit you when they're hip firing their non-trench weapons. But if you're using a trench weapon, put on a gas mask, you're hip firing anyway, so you don't lose any accuracy, which means in the grittiest of battles, if you also throw your own gas grenades, like into a flag area, for example, like you're capping a base, throw gas grenades near the entrances, put on a gas mask, and just sit back and enjoy hip-firing the shit out of anyone that runs at you. I mean, that is one of the best times to have a trench weapon. When you're literally in the middle of all the action, and you can hip fire accurately where everyone else can't. And half the battle, half of that time, it's best if you wear a gas mask, because you can literally run through all the enemy's gas. And I mean, seriously, imagine this. There's like 3 or 4 enemies down a corridor. They've all thrown gas down there. They're all throwing grenades down there, etc. You can put on a gas mask and charge right through with your hipfire trench weapon, and they don't expect, because they've thrown gas down there and everything, they don't expect an enemy to be running at them. So if you charge straight at them round a corner, they're all there, caught unawares, you can hipfire literally 2 or 3 enemies. Anyway, let's move on. Now that you know that the secret is to use trench weapons, and also I advise the gas grenades because of the reasons I've just given you, let's talk about which trench weapon to use, because there's a few. There's the MP18, which I think is the default assault weapon. Then there's the Automatico, I think it's M1918 or something like that. But there's also a couple of support weapons like the BAR, the bar. Now, this is just opinion now. All you need to know is to use trench weapons, essentially, and hipfire them. But I advise, my opinion is that the Automatico is the best trench gun by far. And the reason for that is as you can see, the fire rate is mental. I believe, I could be wrong here, but I believe it's the fastest firing weapon in the game. And hip firing, it shoots so damn fast, it can rip through multiple enemies. The one downside is it has only, I think it's got 20 rounds in its magazine, which is, because it fires so fast, it means you empty the clip fast. But it has a fast reload. That's another good part of it. It has a decent speed reload. So if you just shred someone, get a kill, quickly run behind cover and reload, and then come back out again, I mean, it's not that bad. It is a downside, the fact it's only got 20 bullets, but you can easily work around it once you get used to how quickly it runs out of ammo, if you see what I mean. If you get used to reloading after every kill, you'll be pretty much sorted. But I seriously recommend the Automatico because of how fast it fires. I mean, the MP18 in comparison, I believe, I can't see the numbers in front of me right now, but I believe it shoots about half the fire rate, which is, it's not that bad, and the MP18 is slightly more accurate, I believe, and does a bit more damage. But because the Automatica shoots so much faster, it's worth it, in my opinion. So I say use the Automatico. Right, now I've told you which SMG I think you should use, in my opinion. Other people I've spoken to prefer the MP18, etc., but I think you should use the Automatico. Now I've given you that piece of information, I'm going to move on to my final point, and it's quite a big one. I know a lot of you sat watching this now. If you're still watching this, you're awesome. But I know a lot of you are going to be thinking, why haven't I mentioned shotguns? I'm talking so much about close range fighting, up close and personal. Yes, okay, I concede that very close quarters, or just generally close quarters, the shotgun can be excellent. They're not as easy as some people make them out to use, because often if you miss, then you're fucked. But they are very good up close. But where the shotgun fails is medium range. Now, this is where trench weapons, especially trench SMGs, just shit all over shotguns, right? Because up close and personal, a trench Automatico can kill you essentially just as fast as a shotgun can. And I really do believe that, yes, a shotgun can one-shot you, but the Automatico can kill you so fast that it's almost negligible difference. Now, obviously, when that range increases to medium range, the shotgun is suddenly shit and like it takes several hits. But the trench weapon, not only does it hip fire pretty accurately at medium range, as I said at the beginning of the video, but also, quite simply, you can aim down sight and fire and kill someone instead. Yes, it's obviously not as accurate as the Storm version of the weapon, because the Storm versions are accurate while aiming down sight, and the trench weapons are accurate while hip firing. So obviously the Storm version is better for aiming down sight, but the point is the trench weapon, you can still aim down sight, and it's not that bad. You can still easily kill someone at medium range while aiming down sight. So that's the clear advantage it's got over shotguns. Shotguns are close range only, which is great if you're running sort of down streets and through buildings, because then it's only close quarters. But I'd say it's better balanced, it's more all-round good if you use a trench weapon, because it's very rare that you only fight in close quarters. You see what I mean? There's almost every map has bits and pieces where you've got to run out in the open. So now that I've given you all this info, I hope you agree with me. I mean, it is my genuine opinion that trench weapons are pretty much the best all-rounder weapons for most one-on-one situations, because close range, you shred them to pieces, regardless of what weapon they have. Even if they have a shotgun, you can still kill them quickly enough before they kill you. It's good for medium range, because you can hip fire and aim if they're a bit too far away, for example. And part of this whole, like everything I've covered in this video, one last little tip I'll give you is to never run out in the open. Because it's a close and medium range weapon, these trench SMGs, never go out in the open. Always sort of run behind cover, or if you have to run out in the open, do it bloody quickly and get back into cover fast. Because that's part of utilising the strength of the trench weapon, if you see what I mean. If you put this trench weapon on and you're running out in the middle of an open battlefield, there's no point in using it in the first place, because you're exercising the weakness of the trench weapon. So, use its strengths is what I'm saying. Go close quarters, throw gas grenades in these bases, put you on your gas mask for a short amount of time, and just run through and rape people up close and personal where they are forced to hip fire, but inaccurately. You can fire accurately. That's the whole secret to this class. And I'm getting scores of like 60 kills and 10 deaths because I'm utilizing these strengths. I'm staying out of the open. I'm coming up close and personal. I'm using my gas grenades to great effect. If you follow all these tips, you'll find you're getting some damn good scores. And if, like me, you sort of struggle... I mean, before I figured out the strength of these trench weapons, I was actually struggling to get not necessarily struggling to get a positive score, because I would usually get positive kills and against... I'd get more kills than deaths. But I then figured out the awesomeness that is the trench SMG, especially the Automatico. And seriously, my scores have gone through the roof, so I hope yours do as well. So like this video if you liked it, like this video if you didn't like it, and join me in my next video. I've got a few Battlefield 1 tip videos coming out. So yeah, join me then. Right. So, jump and dive. What the fuck, man? What was that? That's not a... Look at him go! What a dive! What the fuck was that, man?